advisory committees. I recognize you all. I recognize all the partners that are here. I can see my friend from Tasso, my brother from Tasso. I was with him in Gulu, and he was at the Tasso Gulu branch. Yeah, all the subscriber members, all the partners here, I recognize you. Happy to meet you all. I want to say I am sorry I arrived late. Actually, we had the same meeting yesterday in Soroti. So we spent the night there. In the morning, we had some engagements with some partners, especially at the university. We're trying to see how we can make some partnerships there. So it took a little longer than expected. I requested Lillian and our team here to start this meeting so that I join you as the meeting goes on. I know that we have a very capable team here. Yes, they have already, I think, gone through almost half of the meeting. So I think there's good progress here. I want to start by thanking you, all the members of the regional advisory committees, both old and new, for the ideas that you are giving. I came in when my brother, I forget, you are called Bernard, right? Bernard, yes. Yes, so he was giving very good ideas actually, how we can improve things, how we can try to raise some resources, how to improve the function of our Center of Excellence here. I'm very grateful. I am happy for those ideas that you have given us. They are taken in good faith. Regional committees, you are part of the board at regional level. And one of your key functions is to support our team here to raise resources, to mobilize resources. That is one of the biggest functions of the regional RAC. So I can already hear that you are talking about having a charity walk, a charity run, having activities, having a shop here, modifying our premises so that we can have some shops or somewhere where we can actually rent out some of the structure and raise some funds, which is actually very good. I wanted to say that at the national level, it's the same thing that we have been discussing with the board, with the national board. Actually, at the national level, the board has allowed us to rent out a part of our structure. We have a very big building, a very big headquarter building in Kisenyi, in Kampala. And recently, I think that was December, the board gave us permission to let out some of that building. We have a storage building with 3 floors, which is virtually empty now because of the lack of funding. You all know that the donors are pulling out. We had to recently lay off a very big number of staff. We only have about 20 staff members at our headquarters, and we have a very big building with 3 floors. We have a clinic. So they allowed us to actually let out 2 of the 3 floors. We know that we can use even half of the floor really. So we're going to just maintain 1 floor, and we're going to let out the other floors so that we can raise some resources for to sustain our program, both there and here. Actually, that approval, that message goes to even all the regional branches. If you have some space, we should be able to find a way of letting it out so that we can bring in extra resources. So that is part of the sustainability plan already, which has been approved by our board. And also speaking about other activities that we can organize, other partnerships, whether with Rotary, the Lions Club, with I know that we have a kingdom here. We can actually even partner with the king here. I know that there's another king in Soroti. Already we are partnering with a cultural institution there. And then the one for Wamasaba for our region in Mbale. We can find a way of partnering with you so that we can do some activities where we are like giving back to the community, providing services, maybe at some small cost, and that way we can raise some resources. All those are things which we can do with full support from our regional committee, our regional board here. I fully support that, and I really thank you for bringing that up. Please keep on holding the hands of our team that is here so that we can improve the functioning and the resource flow here. You know, they probably already told you that much, like 95% of what we do is funded by donors, and much of this funding has been coming from the government of the US. As most of you know, the Trump administration is cutting down drastically on this funding. So for AIC, for example, we have the biggest project, which is for Teso region, is based in Soroti. We have funds for that project up to the end of March. And the CDC that has been funding that project has told us very clearly that by the end of March, we are not going to get any more funding. What's happening is that funding is being redirected through the government of Uganda. There's an agreement, an MOU, that was signed between the government of Uganda and the US government. So we are supposed to engage the government of Uganda to be able to access that funding through the government. So we, as the top leadership of AIC and the board, we have been engaging. We are actively speaking and talking to the Minister of Health and the government of Uganda to have possibility of getting those funds. But the government has told us that they are in the process of preparing an implementation plan on how they are going to use that money, how they are going to disburse that money, and also they are still putting in place systems for disbursing that money. And we don't know how long that process will take. I am sure that our government wants to avoid the scenario that we had some time back with the Global Fund. You know, some of you who are old enough will remember what happened with the Global Fund some time back, and where it was grossly mismanaged. I think they want to make sure that we avoid that kind of scenario. The systems are put in place first, plans are properly made, and the funds are disbursed to implementing partners that they can actually manage. They have told us in passing, without any commitment, that most likely the partners who are already implementing these TB, HIV activities in the region will be maintained, which means that we have a hope of being maintained as AIC. But we haven't, you know, many of these things, until you sign a document, you can't be sure that, you know, the funding is there. They have told us that we will be maintained, but we are following that up. And until we sign a document, until there's something concrete, that's when we shall come and tell you that our big project has been saved. But in the meantime, we want to be sure that we have other ways of raising money. Now, these are renting out some of these premises which we cannot fully use them. And then we have these old vehicles, motorcycles. The board actually approved that some of them should be disposed of, especially those that were directly owned by AIDS Information Center. You know, some of these are owned by other donors. They were only like given to AIC for use. Those of that category will not be disposed of. But those that are owned by AIC, I think the board also gave us an authority to dispose them so that we can raise some money. Because, you know, as AIC, we are heavily indebted, I discovered. And also we have these recurrent costs, of course, staffing costs, taxes, NSSF, all these costs, of course, plus running the clinics that we have. All those things need money. And we need to find a way whereby we are able to continue providing these services. And those are some of the things, some of the steps that the board has taken to allow us to be able to generate some resources to be able to sort some of the items, some of the issues that we have. And I really appreciate the commitment by you, our board. You know that in the past we have had challenges, we have had issues, and that prevented us from having these regional meetings. Even, I think even before I came in, I must say that I am new. I've been here for about 3.5 months now as the Executive Director of AIC. I'm learning things, but I am happy that you are supporting us, you are holding our hands. But really, we couldn't have these meetings in the past because we had problems, we had challenges, both financial, as I've said, and also with management. There was some challenges. So the meetings could not be held. We are sorry about that. But my commitment with our team is that going forward, we are going to be having these meetings. You know, at the national level, we have the board meetings every quarter. Those are meetings which are scheduled. But in reality, we actually have meetings almost every 2 weeks, because there's always this problem, there's that problem, there's this issue, and we have to involve the board fully in advising and guiding and trying to manage those issues. That is at national level. And I'm the secretary of our board at the national level. So in the region, of course, we call this regional advisory committee. They are just a board, but at regional level. And you also have one person from the RAC at the region who represents your region on the national board. So here, your secretary for the RAC is the regional manager, is Lillian. So I want to task Lillian to work with the new team, make sure that we have a schedule, a timetable for the RAC meetings. The RAC meeting must happen minimum once every quarter. Issues to be discussed. AIC has, we are not short of any issues. We have so many problems which need us to put our brains together, our hands together to solve them. So let us have those meetings, let us document them, and we report, of course, to the national board. You know, we are not saying that good ideas are monopolized only by people at national level. Better ideas can even originate from Mbale here. Some of the good things that you are doing here in this region, actually we can copy them at the national level. So let's not fear to start something. As long as it works, we can use it as a learning ground. We can say this has worked in Mbale, and let us also, people of Mbarara, people of Soroti, people of Arua, let us copy it. That's how we learn. So I really like what you are doing. Continue doing it, and you have a very big role in rejuvenating and rebuilding AIDS Information Center. You know that AIC, Lilian has told you, was actually the first AIDS service organization in Africa, by the way, not only Uganda, in Africa. It was founded in 1990. We are now 36 years old. We should be very far. We should be very far in the league of our colleagues in Taso, Baylor, and other organizations. But we had challenges, as I have said. We couldn't reach that level where we should actually rightfully be. But we have this opportunity to make things better. Let us grab it with both hands, and let us move on. I don't want to, dwell on talking about the past and giving excuses that this happened because of ABCD, but let's focus more on moving forward, taking a step forward, rebuilding, and providing services to our population. Thank you very much. I think